Hello, so today I'm going to do a short tutorial for crow pose. So we'll start down on our backs, just bringing the knees in towards the chest, hands onto the shins, breathing in and out through the nose. And then take the hands onto the kneecaps, keeping the big toes touching. Just take the knees wide, pressing the feet away, drawing the knees together and back into the chest. So taking some hip circles. And then take the hip circles back in the other direction. Bringing the knees back together. And then taking the feet up to the sky, keeping the knees bent, coming into a happy baby. So either taking the hands to the outside of the feet, drawing the knees down towards the armpits, or you might prefer to bring the soles of the feet together, just opening the knees out to the sides. Taking a little rock from side to side. Just finding that feeling of bringing the arms, the tops of the arms towards the knees. And then release the hands, press the hands up towards the sky, bringing the feet together, and then just draw the knees in towards the armpits, the upper arms, and then release. So knees towards the upper arms and release. You might have the feet hip distance or toes together. So lifting the tailbone away from the mat as the knees come towards the tops of the arms, feeling the core muscles working, and then release the feet down. Take the arms to shoulder height into a cactus shape and just drop the knees from side to side. Bring the knees back into the chest, lifting the head and shoulders away from the mat. And then release all the way down. Take the hands round the backs of the thighs and then just roll up, rolling over the knees and coming to your hands and knees position. So an all fours position. Keeping the shoulders over the wrists, just circle in one direction, pressing all four corners of the hands into the mat. And then circle back in the other direction. So feeling the weight into the hands and the wrists. And then spinning the fingers towards the knees, stretching out the backs of the arms, stretching out the wrists, moving backwards and forwards. And then spinning the hands back round so they're facing the top of the mat. Tuck the toes under and then walk the hands back towards you so that you're coming into a squat towards the back of the mat. So you can keep the hands down. If you're not quite as low as I am, that's still fine. You can have the hips a little bit higher, just a bit of a bend through the knees. And you can also use your block. If the heels are off the mat, you can use the block underneath the heels. So coming down into that squat position, and just moving the weight forwards into the hands. So rather than looking down, start to look forwards, feeling the sensation of bringing the shoulders forwards, lifting the hips up towards the sky. So if you haven't got the block, but just a little bit lower, you're still coming forwards, lifting the hips high. And you can always place a cushion down in front of you if you're worried about crashing down into the mat. So lifting up now onto tiptoes, start to bring the knees towards the backs of the arms. Again, bending the elbows a little bit, shifting the weight forwards, and then coming back. So onto the tiptoes, elbows slightly bent, knees come to the backs of the arms, weight comes forwards, and then release back. So try that a few times, just feeling that sensation of the shoulders coming forwards. And then you might find that you can come forwards onto the tops of the arms and lift one leg away or 1 foot away from the mat, and then release. Coming forwards, keep looking forwards, knees to the backs of the arms, lifting the other leg, and then releasing. Just sink back, bring the hands to the heart center, taking a bit of a breather, and then turning the palms, the backs of the hands rather, towards each other, just stretching out the wrists the other way. So moving on to the next stage, and again you can always use your block to place the whole of the feet on, and the knees again to the backs of the arms, just moving forwards and backwards. It's quite a nice way to start if you're being a beginner for this pose. And then working up, so coming high onto the tiptoes, bending the knees, bending the elbows slightly, taking the arms to the backs of the, or knees to the backs of the arms, and then picking up 1 foot, keep looking forwards, picking up the other foot. And then release the feet, come back to your Malasana, your squat pose. Taking a little sway from side to side, and then trying again, so spreading out the fingers, lifting the hips high and sending the weight forwards is what you're aiming for. So coming up high onto the tiptoes, knees to the backs of the arms, bending the elbows, shifting the weight forwards. And you might find that as you shift the weight forwards, the feet just have to lift away from the mat. Keep drawing in the belly, sending the hips high, and then come back to Malasana. We'll take one more. So hands are spread, lifting the hips high, coming high onto the tiptoes, bending the elbows to make that shelf for the tops of the, or knees to come to the tops of the arms, or maybe working a little bit higher into the armpits. Keep gazing forwards, lifting the hips, picking the feet away from the mat. And then if you find yourself in crow, you can shoot the legs back into your plank position. Lower down onto the belly, or to chaturanga, lifting up to upward dog or to a cobra, and then make your way back to downward dog. So just stretching out the legs, shaking the head yes and no, pedaling out the feet. And then release the knees down to the mat, either keeping the knees narrow or taking them wide. Take the hips towards the heels, reaching the arms out in front, finding your child's pose. And then walking the hands in towards the knees, bringing the knees together. Take the hips over to one side and extend the legs out in front. Give the legs a bit of a shake up and down, and then cross the legs. Take the arms wide, reach them up above the head, and then bring the hands to the heart center. Taking the forehead down to the fingertips. And then bringing the thumbs to the space between the eyebrows, inhaling, exhaling. So crow pose, you need to practice, but just take it in stages, and definitely use the blocks if you're beginner at this pose, and just build yourself up. But main points are to keep looking forwards rather than down, and lift the hips high. So hope you enjoy practicing your crow. Thank you.